So there's been a few videos showcasing this Titan Stasis sword build being used to solo and speedrun endgame PvE content in the most absurd, unique and brutish way I've seen in Destiny. However, none of these videos I've seen really break down the build as to why each individual component is crucial and how each piece of the puzzle works. After trying this build out myself, I have to say this is the most fun I've had in PvE in a long time. But this build requires you to know every little bonus and benefit each part of the build is giving you, so that you don't get absolutely obliterated trying to dance with multiple Grandmaster champions. The mantra of this build is damage resist and healing, and all of what we're going to spec into today focuses on those two vital things. At the heart of this build is the Stronghold sword combination, which not only provides damage resist through blocking with the sword, but it also helps with healing. Stronghold are Titan Gauntlet exotics which maximize the guarding ability on your sword and basically let you block without using any ammo on your sword, i.e. block forever. Not only do Stronghold provide damage resist through blocking, but they also provide a heal. Shots blocked immediately after heal you, so if you time the block right, you'll also be healed. As a result, it's important to note that in endgame content, where damage will penetrate through your block, it is sometimes better to let go of your block at times, then reblock, so you can take advantage of this heal, rather than to continuously block forever and slowly have your health whittled away at. Now, the ideal sword to pair this with is Lament, and that's for multiple reasons. Lament has a perk called Revved Consumption, whereby causing damage heals the wielder. Lament also has anti-barrier properties, so that for endgame content, especially solo, one of your champion properties is sorted. The sword also has insane burst DPS potential, and the sword allows for some insane movement as well, which will help with survivability. In some scenarios, a well-rolled crown splitter will be better, but for the vast majority of people, a Lament is the way forward. Next, let's go over the subclass that we're going to be using. The best choice here is Stasis, as Stasis can provide both damage resist and healing if done correctly at a very rapid rate. The Stasis freeze in PvE also helps to provide some time and breathing space when you're against multiple enemies. The main gameplay loop here is to generate Stasis shards through the aspect Tectonic Harvest, whereby shattering Stasis crystals creates these Stasis shards, and then you use Whisper of Rhyme, one of the fragments, to collect these shards, and this provides health regeneration and or overshield depending on what your existing health is. On a Titan, the most reliable way to create stasis crystals and break them is to use a glacier grenade and then use a classic combo whereby you use your tower barricade to break these shards. This allows you to break these crystals and then to maintain a safe barrier against enemies. As this is a key gameplay loop with this build, in terms of stat distribution, the two most important stats are discipline and resilience, so that both the glacier grenade and your tower barricade are on minimal cooldown. The second aspect that we're going to be using is Diamond Lance. Now, the primary reason to use Diamond Lance is because it unlocks a further 3 fragment slots. So in total with your 2 aspects, you have 5 fragment slots in total. But Diamond Lance is actually not a bad ability, and it allows you to freeze enemies at a range reliably, and again it provides a little bit more breathing space and time. For the remaining fragments, we're going to use Whisper of Shards to boost grenade recharge rate, and it also passively provides resilience, which is one of the stats we need. Whisper of Torment, which when you take damage you gain grenade energy, which again plays into that gameplay loop we're trying to achieve. Next, you want Whisper of Chains, whereby standing next to any stasis crystals and or frozen enemies boosts damage resist. And then finally, you want Whisper of Conduction, whereby stasis shards that you generate track to you, so you don't have to run to dangerous positions to gain the overshield or health regen. In terms of armor, we already talked about stat distribution, 100 resilience, 100 discipline, and then second priority is probably going to be recovery, mobility and strength are low down. Next, let's talk about the mods that we need. So we're going to utilize Charged Light, and like most PvE builds out there, one of the key perks that you need is Protective Light, whereby you gain 50% damage resist when enemies break your shield for a limited amount of time. This mod is an absolute lifesaver, and for any endgame PvE build, in my opinion, this is a must. So how are we going to become charged with light so that we can access Protective Light? Most traditional builds in previous seasons and this season have used Take and Charge, whereby you run over some orbs of light, but I think with Witch Queen and in solo content, orb generation isn't that reliable. So instead of orbs of light, we're actually going to utilize Elemental Wells. Elemental Wells are smaller orbs which drop roughly 1 in 8 kills, and picking them up usually gives ability regeneration. If you, however, use the mod Elemental Charge, these wells start giving you Charge with Light buff, and if they match your subclass, in this case Stasis, they give you 2 stacks of Charge with Light. Now, 1 in 8 kills is pretty poor, and we need a way to maintain Charge with Light. Elemental Shards is that key mod which synergizes with this and feeds into the Stasis Shard loop we discussed earlier. Your Stasis Shards now count as Stasis Wells, and each one gives you 2 stacks of Charge with Light. So basically, anytime you need the Charge with Light buff, just pop your grenade, break those Stasis Crystals, and you'll have some stacks. I keep forgetting to pick this mod up, but you can actually get it from the helm at the Wayfinder Compass. The mods rotate weekly there, so keep your eyes peeled. Passive Guard from this season's artifact gives the same 50% damage reduction as Protective Light, as long as you have a sword out, and as long as you're close to combatants causing the damage. This mod helps a ton for damage resist, and I'm seriously hoping it's available next season as well. Lucent Blade is another must-have mod, whereby the damage potential of your sword goes up by 35%, and activating its passive perk lets you use your sword's heavy attack more often, so be sure to slot another arc-based mod somewhere in your build. To finish off our build from top to toe, on your helmet you want 2 sword ammo finders. Running out of sword ammo cripples this build, so you need to make sure that you maximize the chance of getting that ammo. For my gauntlets, I'm running Unstoppable Fusion Rifle, but from season to season this will be interchangeable, and it's also dependent on what PvE content you're running. On my chest piece, I'm running Concussive Dampener and Melee Damage Resist. Concussive Dampener for me is an absolute must, and it reduces splash damage. Melee Damage Resist, however, can be interchangeable depending on what you're running, and if a certain element is hitting you harder, go for an Elemental Damage Resist instead. For your boots and class item, having the new Artifice armor from the Grasp of Avarice Master Dungeon is a huge advantage. For people who don't know, the Artifice armor gives an extra slot where you can put an extra seasonal mod on. So for your boots, if you have the Artifice armor, it lets you stack triple Sword Scavenger, which, unlike the description, they actually do stack. And then for my class item, along ideally with Elemental Shards, you'll want to run double utility kickstart so that you gain your ability energy back much faster as soon as you use your grenade and barricade. And then to finish this build off, in terms of the other weapons that I'm running a fusion rifle in my energy slot for those unstoppable champions, and then in my kinetic slot, I'm going to be running a blinding grenade GL. The GL, if you're running something more low stakes, more casual, replace it with a headstone primary such as AS Luna, so that you can create more stasis crystals and create even more synergy. But if you're running some more difficult content, honestly, the blinding grenades are going to be a lifesaver. So guys, here is a quick 1-page summary of everything I've talked about in this video. Pause it, copy it, try this build out. If you've made it this far, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more awesome builds, tips and tricks for Destiny. Peace out, guys.